Hi everyone, Pragati here. Thanks for joining me on the part 3 of the 3-part series video about how to assess the profitability of a buy-to-let investment. On the last 2 videos, I talked about the use of the yield and also the use of the ROI, the return on investments. So if you haven't watched that video, please feel free just to go and watch the videos, and this part here is focused on how to maximize the return on investment of your buy-to-let investment. A lot of the things that I will talk here is common sense, but one of the leading Hollywood stars during his time, he was one of the highest paid actually, his name is Will Rogers. He said that just because it's a common sense doesn't mean it's a common practice. Okay, so we sort of need reminder about the things that we take it for granted. So yes, if there are things here that you've already heard, just take this as a reminder. Right, so going back to the ROI, the formula for the ROI, return on investment, is your net annual rental income divided by the capital injected times 100. Okay, so the variables that are involved in this equation are your purchase price of the property, the deposit that you will put in, so which also connects to the mortgage or the leverage, and then you've got the management fee that you will pay for the lettings agents for managing your property, and you also have the voids and maintenance that comes into managing your property again. So these, by manipulating the figures around these elements, you will be able to maximize the ROI of your investment. So let's start with the highest amount here, the largest figure, which is the purchase price. So obviously, the lower the price you buy at, the higher the return on investment. It's very common sense. But the important thing here is, okay, so you buy low, higher the return on investment. But how do you buy low? How do you buy below market value? It's a completely different game. Now, at some point, I will cover this topic as well in future videos, not today. But yes, so buying below market value helps you to maximize the return on investment. Now, that brings us to the next larger figure, which is the deposit. So for example, if the property was for 100,000 and you were only putting 20% deposit, that would be 20,000, and if you were putting 30% deposit, that would have been 30,000, with the remaining, which is the 70,000, as your mortgage or the leverage. So the general concept is the lower the money that you put in, the lower the capital that you put in, the higher your return on investment, because you are still buying the same value property but by using less of your own money. However, this doesn't come for free. It comes at a cost, and the cost here is slightly increased interest rate. Okay, so the interest rate could be slightly higher because you're not putting more of your money, you're putting less of your money. Okay, but however, overall, if you look at overall, you will still win by putting in slightly less of your own money. Okay, so the leverage you use will affect the buy-to-let. It will affect the return on your investment. The less the use, the better it is. However, you've got to be careful, and also you need to understand the pros and cons of using higher leverage. Okay, and then you've got the management cost. So if the property is, if you are personally not managing the property, and most of the smart investors would manage it through professional lettings agents, and that's what I would recommend. That's what I've done with my property. You have to pay them the management cost, so which could range anywhere between 8 to 14%, but 10% seems to be so the average figure. So if you're paying too high, maybe you could negotiate down to 10% or even less, as long as the quality of their service is not taken away. Okay, so by reducing that, you increase your net annual income, which increases your return on investment. The next thing is keeping your property in a good condition. Okay, so if your property is looked after well, that leads to less maintenance cost. Okay, so less repair, because it's kept in a good condition. So the more frequently you got to repair the property, the more frequently your boiler breaks down and there's a plumbing issue and there's an electrical issue, there were more expenses. So the more expenses it is, the less your total annual rental income will be. So that kind of minimizes your return on investment. So keep your property, it's your property, you are responsible for that property and also for the tenants. So don't hesitate to spend a little extra. All of these costs are tax deductible as well, so there's nothing to lose, you know. So keep the property in a good condition and keep the tenants happy. So this way, less maintenance cost, as well as you will have a shorter void period, because as soon as one tenancy ends, probably you don't have to wait longer for the next tenant to come in, because your property is kept in a good condition. Finally, it's your rental income, right? So if your property is, you know, again kept in a really good condition, that you could demand higher rent, also results in higher return on investment, because higher rent means, you know, of course, higher income, which, you know, means higher return on your particular investment. These are the main things. There are other little things as well which probably isn't worth so much, but I've kind of covered the main ones here. Hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, you know, probably they were all common sense there, but then common sense doesn't necessarily mean common practice. So just take this as a reminder if you haven't, if you already know about this, and please do like and share my video. Thanks again for watching until the very end of the video. I really appreciate that, for your time and looking at this. Any comments and suggestions you have, please make a comment there, and I'll be more than happy to sort of come back to you. If there is any particular topics that you'd like me to cover, just again make a comment there, and I'll try my very best to come back to you through videos, and I'll do my research and try and present it to you, as long as it is related to property investment. Finally, I would like to wish you happy investment for financial freedom. Many thanks.